And across the river in Illinois, it's been about a week since state lawmakers wrapped up this year's session. A new budget has been passed, and dozens of bills made their way to Governor Pritzker's desk. Now lawmakers get a break for the summer, but what were some of the key takeaways from this spring session? For that, we turn to Peter Hancock, our Illinois political expert and reporter with Capital News Illinois. All right, Peter, let's start with Governor Pritzker. Did he get all that he wanted out of this spring session?
Well, he didn't get everything, but he got most of what he asked for, especially in terms of spending. He asked for about a $56 billion state general fund budget, and that's about what he got. The legislature went a little above and beyond what he asked for, but it was about $56 billion overall, a $350 million increase in K through 12 evidence-based funding, as well as about a 3% increase in higher education funding.
Well, we know Democrats have a supermajority in Illinois in the House and in the Senate, but how about Republicans? How did they feel about this spring session?
Well, predictably, they thought the budget was way too big. They say that in the 8 years, this was Governor Pritzker's 8th budget, and they said during that time, Illinois state spending has increased dramatically, upwards around, it's increased dramatically. Most of that, of course, has been attributable to K through 12 education, Medicaid, and funding the state's pension obligations, which are substantial. But still, nevertheless, state spending is up, and the more conservative party thinks that the state should be tightening its belt rather than, increasing spending and calling for new revenue to cover the increased spending.
Yeah, it was a record-breaking budget this year, coming up for fiscal year 2027. But I want to talk about some of the major bills that passed this spring. There were a lot. We're not going to go over all of them, but just a few that people should know about. One included a new bill about cannabis and hemp. What does this one say?
Yeah, it was an omnibus cannabis hemp bill, and there are a lot of provisions in it. But one of the more significant ones is these new products that called intoxicating hemp, which are now sold in grocery stores, convenience stores, gas stations. Those will now be regulated by the state. They will. You'll only be able to get them in licensed cannabis dispensaries. Some other things in there like medical. Recreational cannabis dispensers can now apply for medical licenses. So people who take medical marijuana will have more options about where to buy it. And then they bring the state into compliance with new federal law. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act changed a lot of federal standards about hemp. So this brings the state's regulations in line with federal law.
One of the big bills to come out of this session that the governor was really excited about has to do with kids and social media. What does it say?
Yeah, this was one of those, a very interesting bill that went through a lot of different mutations, but I believe the final version of it had to do with social media companies and the companies that make devices that automatically get you onto social media platforms now have to have an age verification element to them, so that the feed that goes through your device to people under the age of 16 will be a little bit different. Although parents will be able to override that. And it also limits location sharing and nighttime notifications. It's sort of designed to interrupt the elements of social media that tend to be very addictive, especially for young children. Being able to, infinite scrolling, getting constant notifications at all hours of the day, trying to limit young kids' exposure and the addictive nature of social media platforms.
One of the other bills that got a ton of buzz online this session had to do with rideshare drivers can now unionize in Illinois. But I want to also look at some of the bills that were left on the floor and didn't make the cut. And I feel like the obvious one has to do with the Chicago Bears. What happened here?
Well, I think that they just never were able to pull together a coalition that could support a single idea. Illinois has been under pressure ever since the state of Indiana approved an incentive package to get the bears to move just across the state line. You know how the city of Chicago and the Chicago metropolitan area kind of hooks around the south end of Lake Michigan, just across the line there in Hammond, Indiana, is one of the places they're looking at. So there was a bill in Illinois that would have given some tax incentives to the developers of a stadium, as well as developers of other kinds of what they were calling mega projects. They didn't want to make this just about the Bears. It got through the Senate, but in the end, it could not get through the House. And the governor said, we just ran out of time.
Well, then really fast, I want to touch on one more bill that didn't make it this year that impacts a lot of people, especially in our area, and that is the governor's housing initiative. What was this?
The big part of that was that he wanted the state to take over some zoning authority to get rid of local, what was called restrictive zoning laws that prevent you from being able to, for example, to put up multi-unit housing, small apartment complexes in an area that's otherwise zoned for single family. The governor wanted the state to put in a statewide standard. A lot of local governments did not want to give up on that authority, and that one did not go through.
Well, Peter, it's been a long spring, and I cannot thank you and Brendan and Ben and the whole team at Capital News Illinois for helping us every single Monday break down what's coming out of the State House and State Senate. Thank you so much for all of your work.
It's been a real pleasure. We thank you.
And for you guys at home, we have our political coverage for both states up on our website, including links to all of Capital News Illinois' work. You can find it underneath the As Seen on TV tab. James?